Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the LVLing Up vodcast, which is the vodcast where I get the immense pleasure and privilege of talking to Brisbane business owners, such as the wonderful Ari, who we've got on the episode today. And particularly in the LVLing Up vodcast, we talk to people who've done something transformative or out of the box to grow their business. And I feel like I say this every week, but I'm going to definitely say it again today. We are in for a treat. We've got a great story ahead of us. And Ari, look, I would like to introduce you, but I probably won't do it justice. Would you like to introduce yourself and your business?
Well, sure. Well, I specialize in trust-based selling. You probably caught the accent. I'm from the US originally. I now live in Sydney. Been here for 20 years. Met my wife on a dating site, pre-swiping. This is when she was living in Los Angeles back then, and we met there. And then I came out to visit her in Sydney. We got engaged and married here, and been here for 20 years now. So, yeah, it's a lot to share with your listeners today, and lots of a real big mindset shift for people who hate selling. This will be probably the antidote they've been looking for, hopefully, for a long, long time.
Amazing, amazing. And for anyone who has been tuning in to the podcast for a few weeks now, you'll notice that Ari isn't the first salesperson I've had on the podcast. I'm actually very passionate about it. It's one of those areas I'm really interested in, and particularly, and I think I love that you're, the number one trust-based selling expert around at the moment, Ari. But that whole concept of selling with integrity and honesty and trust. I love this movement, and I can't wait to hear all about it with what you do. Now, before you launch into what you do, again, anyone who's following the Level Up socials would have seen that I got an amazing parcel in the mail. I'm going to grab it. This is like but wait, there's more. Now, I'd love to hear from you, Ari, your, I guess, thought process around sending this out. But if you didn't see the video I did last week, I got a parcel in the mail from Ari, and what was inside was an incredible amount of books. You're a published author. I think you might be the first person on the podcast who's been a published author. And this one, you can see I've already earmarked it because I'm reading it. Unlock the Sales Game. Is this your most recent book?
Yeah, I have a new one I'm working on, but that is the most recent one. Yeah,
You have another one? Oh my gosh.
I'm
How
working on
many
that
are
for
there?
next year. That's coming out next year.
Amazing. And do I have the full suite of books in here?
Yes.
Okay, so we have got this one as well, Trusted Authority. We've got some success stories from every industry. And I think I said in the video how much I love this, because it doesn't matter where you work, you can actually find a story that works for you. And then this one, Lessons from Toby. And I'm really interested in this. So do you want to quickly just share with us what each of these books are all about?
Sure. So Unlock the Sales Game, we'll be talking about today, is sort of the core interesting system of that model that we created around content to help people shift their thinking around selling, which is sort of the main consulting what we do. We'll share that today. And then Trust Authority is about how to position yourself as a category of one within a market. We do consulting around that with consultants and advisors on how to package themselves to as a number one choice for their ideal client. And then the other one is Lessons from Toby, about my son Toby. When he was born, about a day after we were born, we were told we had Down syndrome. And at first we weren't sure what that meant to our lives. Then we realized that a gift we had in our hands. And you notice when it has Downs, they're very beautiful people. They have dressed transparent, they're loving, they're warm. And I was so inspired by him. I wrote the book about that. And I took that way he views the world, embedded it inside of my sales approach, so that one day if he ever goes in sales, he'd be amazing, because he's so honest and so transparent, that we should all be like him one day, that he's the role model.
I love everything about that. So let's go with that, and let's talk about your whole methodology around sales and selling with integrity. And let's go back to the very start. So you've been in Australia for 20 years. I think you count as an honorary Aussie now, by the way. 20 years, I mean, 10 years we'll claim you. But were you doing sales over in the States before you came to Sydney?
Yeah, I think that's where the whole journey began. Actually, it started when I was a sales manager in a software company back then. And we were launching the first online website tracking data collection tools. Now it's called Google Analytics. It's a free tool now. You probably heard of that. But we launched one of the first tools to do that. And we're a fast growing business. I was managing 18 people underneath me, sales reps at the time. And the big leads came across my desk first, the big opportunities. There's one deal came across my desk, and it was a big company, you recognize the name, and they had multiple websites. And if I close one sale, it would double the turnover of the company in one go. That's how big it was. So I called the contact back. We had a nice conversation. He agreed to a conference call and a live demo to show him what we do. So the day finally came, Friday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll never forget it. I was in the conference room, and I closed the door behind me with my director, and in the room was a big conference table. On the table, a speakerphone with 3 legs on it, the kind of the corporate speakerphones of the old days.
It's old
And
mushroom phones.
yeah. And I dialed the number, and he picks it up, and he said, "Hey, Ari, how's it going?" And he says to me, "Ari, let's tell you who's with us on the line today." I said, "Oh, great. I didn't know be anybody else there." Next thing I hear is, "My name is Mike. I'm CEO." I was like, "Oh, wow. CEO of the whole company. It's amazing." "My name is John. I'm head of IT." "Oh, perfect." "My name is Julie. I'm head of global marketing." Even better. I mean, everybody on this phone call was basically a what? A decision maker.
Oh my
Like,
God.
this is a call, you hope to get as often as possible, right? I was like, oh my God, they're all there.
I love that you're going, yes, 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 because some of us would be going, oh my goodness, I did not plan for
Exactly.
this.
And then I introduced myself, and I said what I do, and then begin them a live demo over the web to show them what it looks like to collect all their information of the visitors. And I'm showing this to them on the web, and I started this noise on the phone call, like, wow, this is great. This is amazing. I can't believe it. They started asking me all kinds of questions. How do we use it? How do we install it? What technology? And of course, I had all the answers. I was competent. I was answering their questions. I mean, there was so much chemistry on this phone call. It was like a love fest on the phone.
I love this. You're like doing internal high fives with yourself.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, my boss was like, Ari, nice job. I mean, there was so much chemistry on this call. I was like, this is amazing. This is like the dream sales call. And I was doing my thing. I was answering objections. I was building rapport with them. I had the CDs in my car back then. I was listening to Sales Gurus, the books. I was a student of selling, and I did everything I was taught to do. And it was going amazing. And the call comes to a close an hour later, and my contact says to me, Ari, we love it. This is great. Give us a call in a couple of weeks, follow up with us, and we'll move this thing forward. I said to myself, oh, thank you, God. Oh, what a dream come true. I was like, oh, and I said my goodbyes. I said, thank you very much. I took my arm and I reached for the phone in the middle of the table. As I'm reaching for the speakerphone, by complete accident, rather than hitting the off button, I hit the mute button instead. They were right next to each other, and by accident, I hit the wrong button, and a small click happened, and they thought I hung up the phone.
What happened next?
In that split second, a voice inside of me said, Ari, go to the dark side. Leave on the wall. Go where no one's ever gone before in the world of sales. So I pulled my thumb back just for a second. They started talking amongst themselves, thinking I had left the call. Now, not a trick question, what would you expect them to say after a call like that? What would you assume they would have said?
Amazing. When can we start? That's what I would be thinking.
Of course, because that's what they told me. They were interested. So here's what they said verbatim, word for word. I'll never forget it. That's why we're here today. What they said was, they said, we're not going to go with him. Keep using him for more information, and make sure we shop someplace else cheaper. Knife and heart twist. I was in a state of shock.
You just done it all. You done the technology.
I hit the off button, and I let the water send myself. What did I do wrong? I did everything I was taught to do by the gurus. I was friendly. I knew my stuff. And then a big epiphany hit me. And you can tell me if you agree with this or not. That somewhere along the way, it has become socially acceptable not to tell the truth to people who sell. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay to say things like, sounds good. Send me information. Oh, we're definitely interested.
Yeah, email us.
Yeah, send us an email without any intention of buying.
Why do we do that, Ari? Have you dived into the psychology of that? I mean,
yeah,
people on the phone, I'm busy. I'm about to walk into a meeting. It's probably a lie.
Well, I realized that's what the moment came to me. I realized there is an invisible river of pressure that flows underneath your sales process pre-sale that's there the whole time. And unless you're consciously aware of taking the pressure out of the sales process, they'll always feel comfortable keeping their guard up, not telling you the truth, and making you chase them. And that's when I realized, and I came up with my whole, what I call unlock the game mindset shift 20 years ago, where the goal no longer is to focus on the sale anymore. The goal is to shift your thinking on focusing on trust building only first, to build a bubble of vulnerability so they feel comfortable opening up to you and telling you where you stand. So you're not playing the chasing game anymore. You're not guessing where things are at. You're not dehumanizing yourself by chasing ghosts who never call you back. You're out of this dysfunctional, horrible situation that degrades our humanity. And that became my mission, is to help people who are in the business who hate that experience to make more sales without having to go through that horrible hot cold experience of being dragged through it and wondering why they're not doing well.
And it's kind of a lose-lose for everybody, right? Like, even if you're the buyer, you don't want a salesperson coming at you like a bull at the gate, trying to sell you stuff. They haven't listened to your why and what you're trying to achieve, and they're just wasting your time as well. So
Yes.
everybody wins with this approach.
We've been so conditioned since the 1980s and 70s to use an old way of approaching the customer, yet the world has changed so dramatically just in the last 12 months that so many people need an upgrade on and a shift in thinking to let go of their old way of thinking and change and match to where their current customers. That's the whole goal of today's call, is share ideas around that.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I'm energized. I feel myself like leaning in. I'm like, Ari, tell me more. And I love this movement. I said it before, this whole trust-based, honesty-based. Gone are the days, as you say, from the 1980s of always be closing. No more ABCs. Let's shift this. Let's do things differently. Now, you are a trusted authority, as I said, sort of, recognized globally as the leader in this space. And let me get my list, because I want to say this properly. If you had any doubts around Ari's expertise in this space, you have been featured in CEO Magazine, Forbes, Inc. Magazine, Sky News, and the Australian Financial Review. Plus, you've got all of the books. Plus, you're on the podcast, vodcast circuit. You're obviously very passionate about this, and I feel absolutely honored to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
I love it. All right. So we had this point in time, and this is where I feel like, Ari really came out. You were working for a company. You had this epiphany moment where sales can be different. What happened for you? Did you then start your own business, or did you stay working for someone else?
I quit my job when that happened.
Straight away.
Said, I'm done. I'm not going to allow this experience ever happen to anybody else. It was such a horrible experience that I felt so degraded. And I said to myself, people should not be treated this way. And that became my mission, my passion, to help so many people in business who right now are struggling with trying to make money for their family and their business. And here they are playing the chasing game, being taken advantage of, being seduced to believe they're going to buy something from somebody else. And now they're stuck going, why am I not doing well? I'm competent. I'm educated. I come from the heart, but I'm struggling to convert opportunities into paying clients. Why is it so hard? And my mission to help them make it feel easy again. Oh
my God, there'll be people watching this going, that is such a relief. Please tell me more. Because those of us who've worked in sales, it can feel like treading water a lot of the time. And even where you think you're doing well, not necessarily. So share with us, Ari, how does this all work? I think the best thing to do is to first clear out our mental hard drive, as I call it, and address some of the myths about selling we still carry in the back of our minds. And then I'll pour in some new ideas from there. Nice. So let's deal with the first three, which are these ones. Number one is the idea that sales is a numbers game. It's a very common belief system, which is totally false, because no longer is it about how many contacts you make anymore. It's about how deep you go on each conversation. Ooh, how good you are. Quantity. How good you are at trust building, not how good you are at how many contacts you make. You see, that's a different way of thinking, because most companies manage their teams based on certain behaviors. How many calls they've made, how many demos they've had, how many appointments they had, and they think that's the process. What they don't understand is it's not about those mechanics. It's about how good they are at trust building from the beginning.
which is a total shift in how they approach the model. Number two is the idea that the sale is lost at the end of the process. I'm sure you've been there before, Jasmine, where you had an opportunity pending and all look good and all the boxes were ticked, all of a sudden just doesn't come through. They say, we're not interested. They drops out. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, your heart gets ripped from your chest.
Oh, you're like, that was so close. And we discovered in this economy now that the sale's not lost anymore at the end of the process. It's actually lost now at the beginning of the process.
Ooh.
At hello.
Like
And
literally the beginning.
I'll prove it to you right now in a fun way.
Yes.
If someone calls your office tomorrow morning and you pick up the phone and you hear, hi, my name is, I'm with, we are a, what goes through your mind in about 3 seconds?
Goodbye.
It's over at hello, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right.
And I'm not suggesting that your audience is all outbound calling, but I will make a case today that most of them are losing their opportunities, not at the end of the cycle. They're losing it way at the beginning, which is a real shocker for people who are used to waiting for the sale to come at the end.
Absolutely.
And the last one's an important one, that the idea that rejection is part of the sales process. You have to accept it. And we discovered that rejection actually is triggered by certain things you say and do unconsciously that cause the other person to put their guard up and makes you chase them. And I'll share with your listeners today some of those triggers which will probably blow their mind and realize after all these years, they're the ones causing the issue, not the customer.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell us, where would you like to start on those three things?
Well, let's jump into the core principles behind the system, and I'll share some ideas on how they can use this. So we invented our own what we call trust-based languaging, our own phrases to use to be able to replace sales scripts that are more authentic and more natural, that bring the truth out. So let me share with you our core principle number one. The first principle is the idea that your goal is to always be diffusing pressure from the conversation, always taking the pressure out, so they feel comfortable engaging with you versus you trying to pull them down a process. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're a phone call with a potential client prospect on the phone. The first conversation, call is going well, they're fairly qualified, good chemistry there. It's a good call, your first one, and the call kind of comes to an end. What do we normally say to somebody at the end of a call like that? What are we trained to do usually? We say things like what? How about we what? How about we move things forward?
Yes.
Cup of coffee, a next meeting, a demo. How about we move towards the sale? See, we're so conditioned. When we sense an opportunity, what we do immediately is try to move them towards a next step, right?
Yes, we do.
But what happens if you try and move them forward and they aren't ready yet?
They fall over.
What do you break right there at the beginning of your process?
Yeah, trust. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So same scenario, our approach. Call is going well, good chemistry, good fit, call comes to an end. Rather than saying, hey, how about we move forward? What we say instead is this. We say, where do you think we should go from here?
Wow.
And I'll say it again. Where do you think we should go from here? Now, how does that change the dynamic of the moment?
I feel in control, like it's my choice.
The power is now shifted. And usually when you say to somebody, where do you think we should go from here? They're usually in a state of shock. They can't believe somebody in business would actually ask them what they want to do. This is unheard of. They're so used to being pulled down a process, which now puts their guard up, which ends up in a dysfunctional place. But when you say to somebody, what they usually say is, I've got one more question. Or what about this? What comes out is the truth. Yeah. And that's your goal. Your goal is to get to the truth at the beginning, not guess at the end, hoping you might get the sale and all of a sudden it doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
So one of the triggers of rejection is a languaging, trust-based language that we created that allows you to navigate and build that trust in the beginning so they feel right away you're not like everybody else. This is how you become a trusted authority. You differentiate yourself not based on your solution. You differentiate yourself based on your approach.
Amazing. Amazing. And in terms of other principles?
Yes. So the second one, which is the big one here, is the idea of always be getting to the truth of people. Now, what does that mean? What that means is having them feel comfortable and safe, telling you exactly where they stand. So you're not guessing anymore. Let me give you an example of this. Recently, I got a phone call that came to my office, got through my team, got to me, unscheduled call. I pick it up and I hear Mr. Galper. I said, yes. And he says, my name's John Johnson, change the name. And he says, I'm with XYZ company. They're a big company. You recognize they're in every CBD in this country. And he says, I'm with XYZ company. We're looking to bring someone into our business to help our sales team grow and upgrade their skill set. We're looking at you and a few other people. We'd like to know, first of all, why should we go with you? Why are you the best? And give me your best sales pitch.
On the spot.
He says this to me, of all people. So they're a big company and I'm a human being too. I was like, oh, and I was like, and I got calm again, got centered back to my approach, took a deep breath. I lowered my voice and I said this to him. I said, well, isn't that interesting? Now there's more, don't worry, hang in there, I know. Now what, Ari?
Love it. Inside me going like this.
I said, isn't that interesting? Because over here, our company, we have a similar process to you where we ask a few questions, gather information to see if we're a good fit. And if we're a good fit, we decide where to go from there. And I said to him, would you be open to that?
He just flipped it back on the other foot.
Next thing I know on the phone, nothing, dead silence. Oh my God, he's still there, Then I heard this breath across, like he's breathed, like it's not relief, like he lowers his voice. I can feel his shoulders kind of come down. He becomes a human being again. He gets out of this sort of frame that he was in. He lowers his voice and he says to me, okay, what kind of questions do you have for me?
Amazing.
Next thing I know, in about 5 minutes, I discover 1, he's not a decision maker. 2, he has no budget. And 3, he's just curious as to what I do. And off he went for some videos online and I hung up the phone. Now, what did that process I just did save me months of?
Prospecting.
Chasing.
Yes.
Pursuing.
Yes.
Wasting time. Actually, it's this drug. It's in our bodies and it's latent and it's activated with calls like that. You know what the drug is called?
What?
It's called hopium. You know the hopium drug?
Oh, yes.
You get the inbound call like, oh yeah, I got the call. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
You tell your husband and wife, feed you this year. I got the call. You tell your team, yeah, they called me. And you're so excited. You get the hopium going all through your body. You're like in a high. And then you follow up with them and you get their voicemail like, what the, he's not. And then you go to your computer and you write an email. You say, hi, I'm writing you to what? To follow up. And I'm going to ask your listeners right now and your viewers to do a favor for me right now to remove. I'm going to give them a key phrase to remove forever as of today and never use it again post Ari. And this might hurt just a bit for those who've been in sales for a long time. Okay. I'm going to ask all your viewers and listeners to remove this key phrase forever as of today and never again use the phrase follow up ever again in the world of sales.
Are you sure?
Ever again. What's the only industry in the world that uses the word follow up?
Medicine.
Sales. Hi, I'm calling to follow up to move things where? Forward.
Yes.
A few more classic ones. See, remember the old ones that say, hi, I'm giving you a call to touch base. Remember the touch base one? There's one more.
Touch base.
Getting in touch base. Checking in. That's it. I'm just calling it check in. These are classic 1980s sales language and that connects you the negative salesperson stereotype everybody hates so much. No matter how good-hearted you are, it doesn't matter. The words that you use put you in that frame, and now their guard goes up. Now you're playing the game. You're stuck.
Ari, you've just changed my life. I've been raised on those three phrases. What am I going to do? I need new words.
You and everybody else out there. That's the problem. That's why there's so much pain. So here's what you say instead. This comes right from our program.
Good, yes.
What you say is, I'm giving you a call to see if you have any feedback on our previous conversation, any feedback on a proposal, any feedback on our last meeting. Feedback is going away from the sale, backwards, not towards the sale. You got to move away from it. Stop the momentum, which is the total opposite of what we've been taught to do, which is go get the sale.
Yes.
And I will warn you, my work is very contrarian. As you can see, it's the opposite of how we've been taught to sell, because that way is the problem. Everyone knows it within 3 seconds. They put you in that frame. The minute you say, hi, my name is, I'm with, it's over.
Yep.
So unless you're aware of these behaviors that you're now subconsciously doing every day, you'll be losing so much opportunity for you and your family and your business. So, and what did you notice when I said to him, is one word I said to him, would you be open?
Open.
Now the word open replaces the word, would you be interested?
Oh, okay.
Because open doesn't force them into a yes or into a no. It creates a new space where they feel comfortable telling you the truth.
Yes.
And that's your new mindset. Your mindset going into your sales conversation is, they may not be a fit.
Yes.
Your goal is to get to the truth. Your goal is to stop selling. I know it's a bomb I'm dropping here.
It's a bomb. It's a bomb. And I actually, now that I'm sort of processing this in real time, I love what you said about feedback, because that question elicits truth, and it does almost catch people off guard that they don't have a lie, a prefabbed lie in their head. They come out and they go, oh, well, I thought this. And then all of a sudden you're in a much better position to have build that relationship with that person. I love it.
This is about deep trust building. And this is interesting. You just mentioned that word, that this is not about relationship building. Relationship building and trust building, bomb coming, are mutually exclusive.
Okay. Oh.
You do no longer have to build a relationship with someone pre-sale to get the sale. Relationship building should start after the sale, not before. That's the mistake we're making. We're trying to make them get to like us and know us and build rapport with them, and they know it's fake anyways. They don't want to become your friend. They want to solve their problem. And here we are. Oh, nice to meet you. Where are you from? How's it going? And they're like, yeah, but all I want to do is have me solve my problem. It's like, we're so caught up in this whole relationship thing that it takes you months and months and months to get to know someone. You hope at the end they buy from you. Are you kidding me?
And you might be in the friend zone by then, and they're never going to buy from you at all.
If you cross social norms and business norms together pre-sale, you've killed the opportunity.
Oh my God.
Because this is about a doctor-patient relationship. You're the authority. They're the patient. They've got a problem to solve.
Yes.
They're looking for someone to solve it. They don't care about becoming your friend. They don't even care about how you solve the problem. All they care about is, are you the one to solve it or not? Think about it. From their point of view, they don't want you to start talking.
I love it.
They don't want to know about your resume. They don't know about your case studies. They don't know about your they don't care about you. They care about their problem. It's like going to a doctor saying, my shoulder hurts. He goes, let me take a look. Is it over here? Oh, really? Wow. Let me take a look at that. I think you need to get an x-ray right away. We need to analyze and identify what the source of the problem is. So you go get the x-ray, you come back, goes, yep, I see that spot. See that spot right there? I think you need to go get a PT, an X-ray, and medicine, and you're like, okay, thank you, doctor. And you take the prescription and you go one more place before you go home. You know where you go first?
Where?
You go to the front desk and you do something really interesting. You know, you actually pay. You pay him before the problem's solved.
True.
You pay him to prescribe the solution, not to solve it. And what are we doing? Free consulting, free education. We're sharing value. We're giving more stuff. We're hoping they like us. How's that working for you? The world does not need more value.
Oh my God.
What your clients need is clarity on the problem you help them solve, not value. Stop educating pre-sale.
This is amazing. This is actually blowing my mind. And goes back to what you were saying before about that whole concept of the funnel, and you need as many leads and as many contacts in that funnel as possible, and how you get them with free stuff and value and value.
You know who's selling that?
Who?
The marketers trying to sell you lead generation to get more leads. Because their business run on volume.
Yes.
They're being paid, you see. What they don't understand is they don't know how to convert that into a paid client. See, most people aren't running high volume, low price point businesses. They're running low volume, high margin businesses. So you don't need volume to be successful. What you need is a way to build trust to convert them into clients.
Okay, we're here. We want to hear the answer. How do we do this? We've thrown away everything we're doing already. How do we build trust with people and find those quality people to have those conversations with?
Well, this is part of my new book I'm working on right now, and I'll tell you the name of the book.
Please.
It's going to be called The One Call Sale.
What? Really?
I have figured it out. In the last 5 years with my private clients and testing, I finally figured out a way. If you have a qualified potential client, and you have a first conversation with them, a scheduled call, I finally figured out how to get 100% conversion rate on one phone call if they're pre-qualified, without pressure, without proposals, without follow-up, without next steps, on one call.
Can you tell us the secret, or is this a teaser for the new book?
Well, I'll give you some tips, but it's a whole system I created called the One Call Sale.
Amazing.
But the concept here is it's a shift. Okay, so when they're entering the conversation with you, you're the doctor now. They're the patient. That's your way of thinking. Yeah. So when they enter the call with you and say, hey, nice to meet you as well, you don't work on becoming their friend first. You don't say, hey, how's it going? Where are you from? You don't do that. You do what doctors do. And you say this, you say, nice to meet you. And you say to them, if it's okay with you, ask permission first. If it's okay with you, can you share with me a little bit about your story, your journey, up to your current business model, your challenges, and we'll go from there. How's that sound? That's how you start the call. And guess whose court the ball's in now? They have to start talking about themselves. That's the whole my shoulder hurts thing.
Yes.
Oh, I'm from this, I do this, my business is this, and my challenges are these. Now, you gotta be careful, because the moment we hear problems, what's our instinct want to do?
Solution mode.
Solve it. Oh, I can wait, stop. I can help you with that. Oh my God, my program, it's got 5 steps and I got a coaching program. Oh my God. See, our brain goes crazy. We're like, perfect fit. And we prematurely jump in before trust is created. And we kill the sale. We kill everything and hello.
What do we do then? So we've asked essentially what we call Level Up. We asked for the why. So we now know the why.
We ask what their problems are.
Yes.
Not their why per se, but what are their issues they're trying to solve? What's the problem? Like if you're a business coach, you say, what are your your 3 biggest challenges right now that are holding your business back? Straightforward, right? And they might tell you, what would be an example of one that you might hear from somebody in your business? What might they tell you is one of their problems?
Oh, stagnant growth.
Okay. So whatever they tell you, whatever problem they tell you, say stagnant growth. The first thing you say is this. You say, can you tell me a little bit more about that? And now you begin to unpack and you go down what I call the iceberg. 5 levels deep. See, they're going to give you a problem up here. We react to it. That's not the real problem. You have to go below it about 5 levels deep to be able to amplify the issue, ROI the issue.
Yes.
And then ask him this definitive question. And here's a bomb coming. The question is this a priority for you to solve once and for all? Or are you happy to live with it for a while? I'm okay either way.
Just want to let that absorb for a minute, because that's huge. And that just, I feel like you just cut unnecessary weeks and effort out of the sales cycle just with that one question alone.
It's like a therapist and the patient. If the patient doesn't own the problem, they are the worst patients to ever. My dad was a psychologist. He told me this, and they're the worst patients because if they don't want to solve the problem, they don't own the gravity of it, they'll play the game with you and never want to solve it, never pay you a dime. So do never take on a new client that you can't get to own the problem first. And that requires to have different skills for you to diagnose the issue, to have them feel that you have taken them to a place nobody else has on our first call. And that creates what I call resonance. Resonance is the tune that they feel that you understand them at a level that no one else has before. That is true trust building, not rapport building. You don't need a relationship. Forget that. What you need is skills is how to have them feel that you understand them. They've got a problem. They want it solved. What do? We put a hoops in between that and steps and processes and next step and demos. I'm like, what are you doing? I tell my clients, get out of your own way. You're the problem here. You got to retrain the way you think about the process. People have changed and you haven't.
This is amazing. So we've started, just to recap, you had a transformation. You broke out of corporate sales world, created your own system. You're now helping other people transform. And I know we've got the case studies book here, but did you want to share with us perhaps a couple of examples of people who've done this mindset shift in
you know what
life?
I've got a good one. I've got so many case studies, but there's one. If you go to my LinkedIn profile and look it up recently, I put a video up there of one of my clients who's an accountant who hates selling. An accountant. And the post says, who says accountants can't sell? And I work with him as a private client of mine for a while now. And he tells a story there. You should watch this video. It'll blow your mind. In this story, he tells that he had a referral that came his way. And it was a first call with a potential, another business who needed some help. And the potential client says to him, something like, can you tell me what your services are so I can decide if you're right for me or not? Which normally without my training, you'd say, what?
Wow.
Sure, I provide this compliance, I provide GS. That's what everyone does.
Let me get my elevator pitch out.
Of course. Because that's McDonald's customer service. Hamburger with that? Sure. And we just respond. We just don't know how to. So, yes. All right. So what he said to her was, if it'll be okay with you, let's take a step back for a moment and let's see if we're a good fit. Would you be open to share with me a little bit about your situation? What problems you're trying to solve first? And then I can decide if we're fit or not together. Would you be okay with that? He said it with such tenderness and love that the other person just turned from a bully into a lamb and said, oh, sure. And just poured their heart out with all their problems. And you're going to hear this video. At the end of the call, the lady says to him, my client, you're amazing. What?
You're an accountant.
You're amazing because you actually didn't sell me anything. You just got me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the magic that's created when you shift your thinking and you master the art of trust building. Now imagine using this in other parts of your life as well.
I can't take any more right now, Ari.
One more thing. I've saved 2 marriages so far.
All right. Now I'm intrigued. I'm back to here.
Somebody has come our way and found my stuff and said, Ari, you saved my marriage. I said, what happened? I was on the edge of divorce with my wife. And I finally realized it was my lack of ability to communicate and build trust with her. I was always putting my agenda first, always jumping in too quickly, and I learned how to communicate using your approach, and I taught her how to do it. And now we communicate so well together. We're now back together and our life's great. The issue was I wasn't aware that I was putting my own foot in the middle of the communication. And you made me aware of that for the first time. That's the same thing happening in selling. It's trust-based communication applying to all communication.
That is so true. I mean, I was definitely thinking business, but now that you said marriages, I'm definitely solution mode. Let's just get this done. Here's the idea. Let's go with it. I think I could definitely bring this into my marriage. I don't know if my husband's watching this.
Try, would you be open?
Yeah, exactly. I'll report back on my success there. But thank you. I mean, I can't get over what we covered in that short amount of time. I knew we were in for a treat, but you've absolutely blown my mind. I feel like if you're like me and watching this going, I need to rewind and watch this again. There were so many lessons there. I've made notes. I wasn't expecting to make notes, but I have. I feel like I need to pin some stuff on the wall in front of me. Ari, I'm absolutely blown away. Thank you so much for just those snippets of gold you've given us in that short amount of time. We will, of course, be putting your website, LinkedIn, all of the socials, because I'm sure there are people looking at this going, I want to watch that video of the accountant and I want to see more. Is there anything else you'd like viewers to know about?
Well, obviously, if you want, we can do it again when the new book comes out next year. We can go deeper into that idea. But I think the most important thing is if you're open to the idea of having enough courage to recognize that it's your own subconscious behavior that's been embedded for many, many years, causing the problem between you and making money. When you're open to shifting that way of thinking and you reach out to us for help, just go to our website, unlockthegame.com. Reach out to us there. Don't be afraid. Watch how we talk to you. Watch how we treat you in a phone conversation, and learn from us, and you'll be able to really begin to shift your thinking. And there's a free intro course on my homepage you can get as well. But I think if this resonates with you, run, don't walk.
I love it. Run towards Ari. He's not going to chase you. That honestly incredible. Thank you so much. I'm feeling inspired. Hopefully the viewers are feeling inspired. As I said, links below. Of course, if you would like to watch this episode again and again, you can find it on the Level Up LinkedIn page.
Oh, I got to tell you one more thing.
Oh, yes, please.
I almost forgot. I'm working on a new bumper sticker.
A bumper sticker. Oh, yes. What's the catchphrase?
And a t-shirt.
And a t-shirt, yes.
It's going to say, doctors don't do coffee.
Oh, I like that. I think that's another one I need to stick on my wall.
I'll let you finish your spiel. Go ahead.
Well, no, I think you've just done the mic drop there. I was just going to say, though, if you would like to see this episode again, go to the Level Up website, levelupconsulting.com.au, and on all the socials. But I think your first protocol should be Ari's website and be on the waiting list for that t-shirt and bumper sticker coming your way soon. Thank you, Ari, and thanks everyone for tuning into today's episode.
Thank you.